What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Cannabis Critique. This one going to be a little bit different than our usual episodes. I just keep seeing these comments in my videos and they kind of are starting to annoy me. So I thought I would shed some light on the illusion of competition within the Illinois market. I think a lot of these cultivators have a lot of you fooled, unfortunately, into thinking that there is a robust marketplace with tons of different brands when that just really is not the case. So let's go ahead and shed some light on how each of these brands operate and which brands are actually which brands, for lack of a better term. Cresco. Let's get into Cresco. Their main line is just labeled Cresco, so that's easy to know that it's grown by them. Their value line is their high supply line. I constantly get requests in my comments, please review this from the high supply line. I'll review it off the Cresco line. I always get the best version of the strain. So the high supply line, even Cresco labels it on their own website as their value line. That is just the worst buds from a particular plant. Sometimes you can get good stuff off the high supply line, but it is a complete roulette. It is their value line. Their craft line is Flora Cal Farms. This is one of those ones where when it first came out, it was labeled that it was grown in California, which would be actually illegal to sell here in the state of Illinois. It's just grown by Cresco. It's just Cresco flower with the genetics from Flora Cal Farms. So let's move on to the next brand, Ariza. Their main line is just called Ariza, another easy one. Their value line is a little bit confusing. They just released it recently. It is called Days Off. That's the name of the line. And then on each one of them, it is a mix of two different strains and a popcorn, and they label that a new strain, quote unquote, but it isn't. It's just two strains mixed together, two different buds just put in the same jar. That doesn't make a new strain. For example, their Brain Teaser Days Off is just popcorn from GMO buds and Durban poison buds. So again, when you're asking me to please review Brain Teaser, I've already reviewed both of those strains off of Ariza's main line. Ariza's craft line is again kind of in that same vein as Cresco's. When they first arrived, they were labeled as California bud, even though we know that they aren't. This is just bud grown by Ariza with proprietary genetics from California. So they have a line called Fig Farms and also a line from up north. But they're all grown by Ariza right here in the great state of Illinois. Ozone was our next cultivator. Theirs is again pretty simple. Their main line just called Ozone. They do like to have like a reserve line and then just their regular line, but I've noticed zero difference in quality between those two lines. Their value line is labeled Simply Herb. Again, it's just Cresco bud, guys. And not Cresco bud, but Ozone bud. And their craft line is more on like really gauged towards females. They have two female-owned brands, which I don't know if they actually are, if they're just actually grown by Ozone, but Miss Grass and Flower by Edie Parker. Revolution, theirs is pretty simple and easy. Their main line just called Revolution, and no sub-brands there. And then their value line is the Tales and Travels line, which used to be its own thing, but is now just old Revolution strains from their catalog. Verano, theirs is pretty simple too. Their main line called Verano, and they're another one of those ones where they have a reserve line and then an essence side of things, but they're pretty much the same. And their value line is labeled as Savvy, which actually I've seen some strains on the Savvy line that are not available on the Verano main line. So that is kind of interesting. And then our last line, Nature's Grace and Wellness, they're a little bit unique. They have a trash line that's called Nature's Grace and Wellness, and then they have a Basuda line that is called Graffiti. You should just stay away from both of those. Absolute garbage. So there you have it. Now you guys have a little clarification on the Illinois cannabis brands. I hope this helped you out. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more.